Welcome to the MOGL podcast. I'm Tim Bryson, Director of Athlete Education and Compliance, and I'm the host of our show. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning community member, welcome back. As y'all know, the MOGL podcast is dedicated to educating all NIL athletes and brands on how to ensure compliance, how to maximize NIL activity, and how to make a difference in the ever-evolving NIL landscape. Today, we have a special guest, one that I've known for about almost 2 years now, almost 2 years. They are a tennis athlete up in the Northeast, though they're not from the Northeast, which we'll talk about on this show. They are someone who's also serving in an internship capacity in the education space for MOGL during the spring 2023 semester. And if you have not following this individual on TikTok, it is not too late to do so. And I had them shout out their TikTok when we get to that point. But without further ado, y'all help me welcome my sunglasses inspiration and inspo, Vannelie Melendez. What's poppin', homie?
Hey, how are you?
We on the pod, yo. I told you we're gonna get you on.
I'm finally here. Wow, I feel really honored, to be honest.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is this your first podcast?
Well, it is the first one with you. I had a radio show last semester that was kind of like a podcast too. So, I talk about myself there, but yeah. I mean, I always saw you doing it, so it's always fun to watch.
Well, I gotta get you on. I gotta get you on my personal podcast too. I think we could talk about some more, not more fun, just different fun kind of conversations, especially as it relates to non-US activities. But nevertheless, V, I know you go by V to the public and to the world, and so I'll call you that for the remainder of our show together. But our podcast is separated into 3 different segments, which we'll talk about NIL, of course. We'll talk about action items that's important for all of our audience to take away from our conversation together. But we start off every show the same way with the same segment, and that's storytelling. So this opportunity for you to share whatever you feel comfortable sharing with the world. And so without further ado, V, what is your story?
Well, I am Vannelie Melendez, like you already said. I am from Puerto Rico. I am the youngest in my family. We all play tennis. So, I mean, my parents, questionable, but they do try. My siblings and I all came here to the US to play. I'm the only one that didn't go to the same school. It's crazy. But I always wanted to create my own path. So that's why I decided to go to another school. I'm currently a senior at Providence College. I'm on the tennis team. I'm a senior captain. Now I'm a senior captain, but I was a captain since sophomore year. Kind of crazy to be a captain for upperclassmen, to be honest. But
wow,
what else? I am a psychology major, marketing minor. I'm on the neuroscience certificate program here at PC as well. And I'm applying for MBA programs right now. So we'll see how it goes. If not, the plan is to go to Spain and do a neural marketing master. So we'll see.
Okay, let me tell you something, V. Let me tell you something. We're off to a great start already. One of my biggest, it's not a pet peeve because it's more so hilarious to me, is that people like yourself, right? We didn't follow each other now, which we'll talk about probably after I say this part, about 1.5 years. We've had conversations about careers, and you're just dropping the fact that you might just go to Spain, bro.
Yeah.
When did you decide this?
I mean, well, the plan was for me to graduate from PC and then go to Spain right after. But because we got the 5th year because of COVID and stuff, I'm thinking of maybe staying here or going to another school and maybe use it or be a GA in the school or something like that, and then get the MBA, which is really good to like open doors in a lot of positions. And then I'm definitely going to Spain because it has been my dream, like going there and study, like doing my master's or PhD there. So that's the plan.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there for a number of different things. One, there's a lot to even unpack and unravel there. You know, I love the Spanish language, and I'm still learning right now, which we're not gonna. Yeah. We might practice later. But I want to go back a little bit because you mentioned that you all of your siblings play tennis. And if I heard you correctly, you said everyone came to the US to play.
Yeah, the three of us came.
What
Yeah.
where did the first two go?
They went to Rider University
Oh
in
yeah,
New
yeah.
Jersey.
Yep. So
Yeah.
what about Providence stuck out to you? Why Providence?
Well, PC, I like that PC was not big. Like Rider is not big either, but I already knew Rider, and like the other schools that I visited were really good. I really liked most of them, but then when I came here, it was just like another feeling. Like when I came, I feel like I was at home kind of type of
Mhm.
feeling. Um, like when I visited, I didn't even speak that much English, to be honest, or I wasn't that confident. So I didn't speak that much. My brother did all the talking. But it was just like it was really it was really nice meeting the coaches. It was so nice, like the campus in general, the people, the community. Like we have a rule here that it's like friars open doors for other people or hold doors
Mhm.
for other people. So like you could see literally everyone wherever you walk holding their door, even if they have to wait like minutes for other people to get to the door and stuff. But like I just feel like everyone here was like so welcoming and so happy and like you walk around and you see people that you know. That's what I like the most. Like there's some days like especially in winter that you feel like kind of lonely because everyone is like
Mhm.
in their rooms and stuff. But like you still see people that you know around because it's so small and you take classes with a lot of people. The classes are really small, the professors really get to know you. Like now that I'm applying to MBAs, I've asked a couple of professors and they're like, of course I'll write a recommendation letter for you. And like even if I didn't interact in a one-on-one with them, they know me because of how small the classes are.
Mhm.
So I don't know, it was just like a combination of a lot of things. Um, and definitely athletics here is pretty good too. So that was the most.
No, y'all are solid. I actually have a friend that went to Providence. He always talks about the Friars. Or he says Friars.
Fryers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I want to go back to the Spain piece, right? And the reason why it's super important, and I want to make sure I highlight this on this episode, is because there there continues to be a push for U.S. domestic athletes to study abroad, right? Either short
Mhm.
term semester is kind of hard. Year long is definitely hard, just given sport and competition schedule. But as someone came from Puerto Rico to the U.S. and now has identified Spain, two questions I have: like one, why Spain, right? As rhetorical, I mean, obvious that may be or not be, but then two, what is it about the idea of studying in another country that like has interested you to want to continue to pursue that even after your bachelor's degree?
Well, why Spain? Well, I don't know. I always wanted to do neuroscience since like my whole high school period or whatever. And Spain has like everyone I interview for like projects and stuff, they went to Spain to study. So I was like, Spain must be really good.
Oh.
But when I researched what I wanted to do next, which is the neuromarketing master, Spain is basically the only um country that have multiple programs. Like there are countries that have some, like maybe one of them, at least of what I found.
Yeah.
Um, but Spain have multiple, and then it's also like I have friends from Spain too, so I know kind of the vibe and like I really like it. I visited Spain this past summer and I really like it. So I don't know, it just like I honestly don't have like a clear answer about it. I just know they're really good at neuroscience. And yeah, I always wanted to go there because of that.
I love it. That's enough for me. Last question for you. As you think about your time at Providence so far, I mean, not only are you a college athlete, tennis athlete, shout out to tennis, but you've done a lot outside of tennis, right? Particularly being involved with SAG. You said your HRA is the correct
Yeah.
abbreviation, right? Part of the HRA is Res Life, Student Life, Student Affairs Division. as you thinking about wrapping up your time in Providence, right, in Rhode Island, one word or one sentence to really encapsulate, what the last 4 years have been for you?
Um, I think it has been challenging, but um, I don't know how to say that word in English, if I'm being honest.
No,
But
you're good.
like
What is it in
I took
Spanish?
a lot. I don't even know it in Spanish. When
Yeah.
when you know two languages, it's like sometimes you forget in both language. It's so bad. But it's basically that I took a lot from my years here. I learned a lot and I
Mhm.
had a lot of opportunities here. So um even though it was challenging, um I really took the time to get to know people and learn and get everything I could from the opportunity of studying here.
Yeah, I don't think there's a word for that in English either, D. So we're on the same page. Segment 2, you mentioned it was challenging, right? But you still were able to take away a lot, right? From different opportunities, different experiences, both at your institution, but also within the conference and the NCAA structure as well, which is how we met. We should
Mhm.
probably talk about that in a second. But before we do that, NILs was an opportunity, but also has been challenging for some, has been still a gray area for others. Like it's all over the place, right? And as someone who came into college before NIL was a thing, if you will, right? At least legally, you've seen like the pre and post, right? You've seen pre-NIL, you've been an athlete during like the COVID pandemic era. Now you're like, as you think about NIL right now, like what are you thinking? Like, what are your teammates? Like, what's like your friends across the Big East or the NCAA thinking? Like, what's been the conversation in your friend groups, your teammate groups to this point?
Well, here at PC, they have helped us in the conversation about NIL to educate us and stuff. Up to that point, like you have to experience it to be able to understand it completely.
True.
I think in my friend group, I might be one of the few that actually try to get NIL deals. I honestly don't know why, but um, I mean, most of my friends are internationals too, so they can really do NIL here. But I had a good experience from the deals I've had, and I also had like I applied for a lot of NIL deals, and then I don't get like any response back. I
Mm,
don't know why. Maybe I mean, most of my Instagram and like social media platforms are like in Puerto Rico or traveling or stuff like that. So it's not like I'm in an exact place all the time.
mhm.
So maybe it's because of that. I'm honestly just like learning now from you and from other conversations around campus and around our conference. But yeah, that has been my experience so far.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, especially the travel piece, because I understand that we got connected to the NCAA Student Athlete Leadership Forum. Shout out to Didi and Sable and Lamar and everyone else who ran that program. You are someone who travels, right? And I think you looking at my Instagram, I am someone that travels, but being travelers, especially being non-US centered minded and even, residents in your case or natives in your case, NIL, again, it's not a secret to anyone listening to this podcast. Y'all know I care about international athletes, if not as much as y'all or the international athletes as much as others, right? And so being that you do travel a lot and you do have a lot of international athlete friends, in some ways it makes sense that the conversations have been different. But as we think about NIL now, a year and a half in, within your international athlete friend group or community, is that something that they're yearning for and or have questions about, maybe confused as to why they can't participate? Again, I can say this every day, and I do say this most days, but people are probably tune me out at this point. But as someone on campus, like, what are you hearing from at least those around you about international athletes in particular about NIL and being able to engage, how they want to engage similar to their US peers?
I think it's for them it's really frustrating because they would love to like work or be able to get those deals and have some money because some of them are here like full scholarship that um like they come here just to study and they sometimes need the money, like, just to, like, I don't know, make dinner and stuff like that, for their, like, normal life, but, um, so it's been frustrating for them, especially when they talk to us, when we have, like, when other people come to the school and talk, and they have to go to those conversations and those, events here on campus, and they're like, "Well, this is not gonna help me, like, what am I doing here?" You know? And they're also, like, I've heard a lot of interest in talking about if they can get NIL deals in, their country, how would it work if they're here, you know?
Mm,
Like,
mm,
um, because they go there, like, sometimes during the summer, sometimes they don't even go there. So it's like how that, like, economic thing, their visa, like, if it gets affected by it and stuff like that, and how can they reach out to those companies and, um, not teach them, but kind of, like, tell them what is NIL and having that conversation, like, we're like this. I don't know if this is worldwide or it's just the US, you know? So it's like, how can they go to their country, go to these companies they want, and be like, this is what's going on in the US in
mhm.
athletics, and we would like to do this, but you know, I don't like. I haven't tried it. I haven't heard of anyone that have tried it. So yeah, they're like up in there with that conversation.
You give me a different PhD dissertation idea, V.
Really?
You give me, yeah, I mean, that would be dope if you could, if international athletes, let's say from, I know someone on your team's from Ecuador. I've been to Ecuador actually
Hmm.
once. I've been to Puerto Rico too. I've been to San Juan.
Yeah, you went before you met me.
No, did I?
Yeah, I think we
May,
talked, like, you went a couple of months before, and then you were like, "Oh my
yeah,
god, I went to Puerto Rico."
yeah, May
Yeah.
2021, I think it was. But Ecuador, for example, like, working with one of your teammates from Ecuador, I believe the name was Elisa,
Elisa.
Elisa.
Elisa. Yeah.
Got it right. Yeah, but saying like Lisa, like, yo, here you can go back to Guayaquil or go to Quito and talk to an employer and organization about what the NCAA structure is. Like, that'd be dope. Like
Yeah.
from a research standpoint, heck yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah. It would be really interesting. Like, also, like, what if you, like, they approach the company and they're just like, "It's for an NIL," and they're like, "What?" Like,
What is it? Yes,
yeah, like, I'm pretty sure they don't have that. I think they don't even have that in Puerto Rico. So,
it's probably just different. I mean, it's really just influencer marketing or like brand marketing. But I think
yeah,
US,
I don't know.
are you in Puerto Rico?
I Because in Puerto Rico, we don't like, we do run by the federal laws and stuff, but we also have our own laws, and we have,
Mm.
like, we don't run by the NCAA or NI NAIA. Um, but I don't know. I honestly haven't heard anything from Puerto Rico, so it'll be interesting.
Okay, let me know when you want to do your PhD. We'll talk more about that. But on that same line, right? Like you're currently interning with MOGL with us for the spring 2023 semester. You and I talked particularly about NIL education. The topic, the thread, the theme, the opportunity for growth is around diversity, equity, and inclusion with NIL activity, right? As broad of a topic as that
Mhm.
sounds, that's what it is about. Um, where did that come from? Like, where did that interest come from? Given that, like, though you dabbled a little bit in NIL, some of your teammates, US or non-US, may haven't. Like, where did that interest come from? Especially for those that may not, for those that are listening that may not know you, right? You have this interest in neuroscience, right? Obviously from Puerto Rico, want to go to Spain, but DI and NIL, like, not make
Yeah.
it make sense, but help us understand where this comes from. Because I know the story behind this.
Well, I'm very passionate about business and DEI, even though I come from neuroscience and psych. It's crazy. My mind is crazy, I'm telling you.
I like
But
it.
I grew up in, like, my parents own a small business, or business small business owners, that's how you say it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I always grew up around them, and, like, knowing how they create, like, new opportunities for, um underrepresented people and people that actually, like, need, to be there, need the opportunity and need the job. So when we started the conversation with NIL, I remember actually where we met. It was like the NCAA. I
Leadership
forgot.
forum.
Yeah. So we had a conversation about NIL, and I hear all the internationals like, yeah, like we can do it. And I was like, well, I didn't know that. I thought it was like for all athletes in general. So once I learned that, and once I've like got to know a little more, and NIL got a little more of form, I guess, in
Mm-hmm.
like states, I just wanted to learn more for my benefit and for the benefit of other underrepresented student athletes. My teammates, I have international teammates and I have American teammates too, and like it's interesting hearing about like everyone's different experience. Right now we actually, I don't know if it's an NIL deal, but it's like an NIL club or something like that. And people like sign up and they donate money to the team, and it's like a team thing instead of like a personal thing. So internationals are able to actually participate on that. So it's like very interesting to see all the new opportunities are rising up now. And that's what I want to do. I want to like create these opportunities for these people and use my passion for business and my passion for DEI and just make it happen for more people.
That's good. So we focused our conversation so far on international athletes in particular. But as I mentioned before, some would argue, even some athletes at PC may argue, right, that NIL is not for smaller schools, it's not for the biggies, it's not for tennis, especially women's tennis athletes, right? Those are also opportunities for growth to advance and really center equity, justice, and equality, and inclusion within NIL conversations. Where do you think, like, what are some other communities either that I just mentioned and or alongside those that you're thinking about, who we need to think about more critically and more often to center their experience in NIL as well?
I think I do, when I say underrepresented people, I include women,
Mm-hmm.
Black student athletes, internationals, LGBTQ community. Um, I'm including like everyone who is not um the majority. um, Especially here in being in a PWI school, it's like you could see it more that they have more opportunities than us in a lot of things.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. I like lost track, but
No, you're good. I'm saying you're saying you're focused on underrepresented communities, particularly those who aren't white men or white male
yeah,
athletes.
yeah.
And what I'm asking is like, in addition to particularly international athletes, which we just talked about, probably more at length, like, are there other communities, like you mentioned, women athletes, definitely tennis athletes, LGBTQIA identifying athletes, which is a huge opportunity for both conversation and action that we need to take moving forward. That you're thinking about when you're making decisions that are rooted in inclusion and justice
Yeah.
alongside us at MOGL.
Yeah, I'm here. I work in DEI for athletics, especially for athletes, but we have conversation for staff and everyone in the department. And I also work for the whole school to create events and stuff like that, like create a conversation about a dialogue about inclusion, equity, inclusion, and democracy.
Mhm.
But it's very interesting, and it's very interesting how everyone thinks different. But besides the point, I'm really I like working with everyone, to be honest, and I want, especially here, being in Catholic school, being in a PWI school, a really small school, I really um, like working and creating events and opportunities for LGBTQIA people and Black students. So
Love that.
that's my main focus.
No, nothing wrong with that. But to ask another question as it relates to that. Oh, the Big East, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you're involved with Big East SAC, which is super exciting because SAC I think is a huge under utilized and really appreciated governing body, particularly within college sport. But your experience in Big East SAC, right? Like, what's been some highlights as you're meeting and have meetings with them on a regular basis? Like, from those meetings, like, what are you seeing as the future of NIL, from your seat, from your school? I want to talk to us more about like Big East SAC, but also the future of NIL as you see it right now.
So, we don't meet that often, which is kind of weird. I think a lot of SAC meet, um, or what I've heard meet more often. But from what I've seen, the conference as a whole is not doing a lot of NIL conversation or a lot of NIL education.
Mm-hmm.
But individual schools are doing, like Providence is doing, UConn is doing,
Mm-hmm.
and those are so far the ones that I know. Um, but um, there's not much conversation about NIL right now in our SAC in Big East. We talk more about DEI. Those are conversations that we have talked more um, in the past couple of months, and mental health because it's something very important. But um, because of those two topics, I think they're really like strong topics and big and broad. So we haven't really talked that much about NIL. So the other day we had a meeting and I brought it up and everyone was like, "Oh, we haven't done anything for NIL, you know?" So we're actually like in the conversation, me as an intern for MOGL, we are in a conversation about it to see what we can do and how we can bring that education to other athletes. But um yeah, I haven't heard much from the conference, from other student athletes. I know UConn have a marketplace or something like similar, and they also have a platform, but not a lot of athletes use it. That's what I've heard from other athletes. So yeah, and yeah, the biggest it's it's getting there slowly, but it's getting there.
Yeah, but I think that's been the theme of other conferences too, just trying to figure out like where's our place in all of this? Like, are we gonna let the schools do their
Yeah.
thing? Are the conferences gonna jump in and kind of lead? So like I said, it's been interesting. I don't think there's any wrong approach at this point, but definitely people are moving at different
Mhm.
paces. Where do you think we're going NIL wise?
I think I honestly it honestly can go like a lot of ways, I think, but it's like a great opportunity for all athletes, and I think the next step is to be able to include um internationals especially, so they're able to those have those same opportunities that we have. But I think with the education we're giving and the education other schools are trying to give, and just like the awareness that this is going on and you can like we can actually take part of it, like even though you're in a small school or even though you play a small sport or an individual sport or any sport, like you can take advantage of it. So I think it's just we're we're actually moving forward with that awareness, and I think more the athletes know, the more we can move forward to other steps like including the internationals.
I'm with you. I cannot wait. I literally cannot. I hope it's sooner than later. Because I literally cannot wait. Segment 3, and this is the part that you're a little more nervous about, but I told you you're gonna be fine. All right, we talked a little bit about a lot, particularly as it relates to obviously your interest in neuroscience and definitely going to Spain, NIL, DEI, and business. Even mentioned your parents are small business owners back in not well, the business might be small, but I'm gonna say business owners back in Puerto Rico. Right, like what are 3 things you want our audience to remember and take away after our conversation together? And this could be related to NIL, you as a human, or just what you want people to know about just the athlete experience in 2023.
I would say first, don't be afraid of doing what you want. I came to the US without basically speaking English. Like I knew how to do it, but I wasn't confident, and I'm still here and I'm graduating. So just take that step and do it with the fear or whatever you're feeling. It's okay to feel that way, and you're not alone. Second, educate yourself um, in everything you want. I've, like I told you, I'm going from psych to marketing to MBA to neuroscience. I love DEI, I love business. I'm trying to educate myself in all that. So it's not crazy to choose two different fields.
Mm-hmm.
It's not crazy to go two different ways or study something and then wanting to work on another thing. It's just do what you want, because at the end of the day it's for you, and this is one of the biggest and one of the only things you can do for yourself. um, get knowledge. And then my third one, I have to think about my third one. um I think I said a lot in two, but I'm gonna say another one.
Take your time.
Oh, I said it in my blog that I sent you, but um just know that good luck doesn't come. You can construct it, and the NIL world gives you that opportunity. I think you can do a lot with what NIL, or like everyone, us student athletes, can do a lot with what NIL gives us. That's from getting a deal or creating a connection with that company. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win. Maybe you'll end up working for that company if you don't end up doing a deal. Um, I think it's like I said at the beginning, take that step. Don't be afraid. And that's how I've been living my life. And that's why I'm here.
Good luck doesn't come, you can construct it.
Yeah.
I love that quote. Where's your sunglasses at? Because you thought I was gonna lead this conversation without putting on our famous sunglasses that
I have
we
so
met.
many, but I'm gonna put on the ones that you actually like.
The hexagons? Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to H. Where do you get yours from? Ray-Ban? Mine from H&M.
Ray-Ban.
If you're not watching this podcast on YouTube, just stop listening right now and go to YouTube and look at our sunglasses because they're fire. But V, te amo mucho, mi amiga.
Igual.
Muchas gracias por su tiempo en este jueves.
Mhm.
Y yo necesito una camisa de PC.
Mhm.
Oh, this is good. I like this. Y
You're doing pretty good.
hey, yo habla español. I hope it, and I'm gonna cut this part of the podcast so people can hear me talking Spanish for real. But cuando ¿cómo se dice move to Spain?
Cuando te mudes.
¿Te mudes a España?
Yeah.
I'm coming. Yo voy a visitar.
You're more than welcome to come. You
Mi
have a place
amiga.
to stay if you come.
I'm coming, yo. V, I love you, dog. I appreciate you. I'm glad to have you as our intern for this semester. Anything else you want to share? Drop your TikTok, your Instagram, whatever,
My
LinkedIn.
Instagram. I'm not gonna drop my TikTok because, man, that's crazy. But my Instagram is Van Melendez, which is VANNMELENDEZ. So that's my Instagram. That's all I'm gonna share for
I'll put you.
myself.
I won't put your TikTok. I'll just put your Instagram in the notes to the bio. But again, thank you so much for your time today, V. Again, I enjoyed learning more about you because I definitely learned some things about you I wasn't even aware of. But I think in the grand scheme of things, you mentioned good luck, right? It doesn't just come upon you. We create it. Had I not applied to Leadership Forum, had you not applied and or been nominated to take part in Leadership Forum back in Houston, Texas, 2021, I believe, this wouldn't even been a thing, yo. This wouldn't even been a
Yeah,
thing. So I'm
yeah.
glad that we created, this is good. I'm glad that we created that tengo suerte, right? Suerte bueno, suerte. Buen suerte.
Sí, suerte, buena suerte. Yeah.
Buena suerte. Juntos. Because now we're here.
Now we are. Look at us.
Appreciate you, my friend. Everyone else, man, thank y'all for tuning in to that episode of the MOGL podcast. Again, like I said before, the last 5 minutes, if you are listening on audio, just stop listening and go to YouTube and look at our sunglasses because they're fire. It's a photo up right there. I look forward to having more conversations about how we can empower and educate all athletes and brands on how to help athletes monetize their NIL, of course, while also remaining compliant and making a difference in the ever-evolving NIL landscape. As always, until then, get paid, get mogul. Peace out.